Oh, yeah. I don't know what happened. It went down. I was I was still streaming. I was talking. I was making commentary about everything. But whatever. It's all good. We gonna carry on. I think I was talking for like 5 minutes before I even realized that the stream had went down. I don't know why it did, but stuff happens. I'm trying to see who did not show up. Because I'm pretty sure, let's see. I got something pulled up right here, but I'm trying to see if there was a list of people who didn't show up. Yes, I'm not sure what happened. I don't know. I was talking for like 5 minutes. I was giving commentary on it, but honestly, we can move on, man. I mean, because that was it was that just is. I mean, what more is there really to say about any of that? Again, let's get these people out of office as much as we can. Let's get these people the hell up out of office. Um I just got a notification. I was trying to see if there was a list of the members of Congress who didn't show up to the speech. Again, definitely a good move and a good look on Kamala for not being there. Um I think that that's definitely one of the things that she's going to get pushed on the hardest and immediately. Again, I think it's pretty clear that if she just does what she needs to do, she's going to win. Obviously, that could not happen, but if and when she does win, I think that the issue in Gaza is definitely going to be one of the things that's pressed on her pretty much right away. Um, Okay, I wish they put it in a list, but there's a decent amount of people who in Congress who didn't show up. I think Rashida Tlaib. She had like a yeah, yeah. I was just about to say that about Rashida. She brought a protest sign, and she's not clapping and stuff like that. Um so yeah. But let's move on from that because there's other stuff to talk about, and it's I honestly I don't really want to listen to Netanyahu. I really don't like for what. All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into other people running for office. I don't know who this guy is, but he's from my home state of Missouri, and next week I'll be back in Missouri for 5 or 6 months. So I might as well start getting again. Like I said, I'm about to tap into the scene when I go there. Overall, this me living in St. Louis for a little bit is really gonna pay off in a lot of different ways. Yeah, it really will. Um, but yeah, so Missouri GOP gubernatorial candidate posts incredibly bizarre campaign ad about illegal immigration. I haven't seen it, so let's see.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm running for governor to crack down on illegal immigration.
Oh, he's running for
Él es Bill Eigel.
he's running for governor. Oh, okay. Yeah, Missouri is Missouri is a very, very red state.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm running for governor to crack down on illegal immigration.
Él es Bill Eigel y tomará medidas enérgicas contra la inmigración ilegal.
No more taxpayer handouts for illegals, period. Nada. Zilch. Zero.
No más ilegales, no más dinero, y no más fiestas.
We're throwing them in jail and sending them back where they came from.
Ay, caramba.
Andre, arriba.
It's time to take Missouri back.
That was like something that a 14-year-old would make. That like literally that was like 14-year-old level humor that could you know what I'm saying that you could or could not look past. But since he's an adult, obviously we know what's up. But it's just like that was yeah, I mean, not surprising. It is the times that we're living in. What's the name? Brian Kemp. He remember his commercial where he was like, "I'm Second Amendment or something," and he was like, he pulled up in some truck and he was like, I'm gonna round up illegals myself, send them back home myself. And he was in like a pickup truck or some shit like that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when you look at stuff like this, like from states like where I'm from, like Missouri. I mean, they call these places flyover states. Now, obviously, there's millions of people who live in these states, but the thing is you can win on stuff like that in states like Missouri, Kentucky, or whatever, just because of the demographics that are there. Like if the like obviously St. Louis is very segregated. Missouri is more segregated than places like California or Jersey or NYC, like or even Texas, like Florida, places like that, Chicago. People are more used to everybody being mixed around with everybody. But in places like Missouri and Midwestern states, it's not as mixed around. Like you definitely have black populations, Mexican populations, Mexicans everywhere. But you got Asian populations, but they're like the Asians are here, the Mexicans are here, the black people are here. Like so, you know, exactly. Great point. Missouri is right next to Mexico. But yeah, you can win in areas like that just because they're so deeply red. But in any area that's contested, it's like this is just stupid. It's immature. It's really not funny. But when you're in a deep red area, you can just do shit like this because what difference does it make? Because this was not a good ad. Not only was it racist and all that shit, but it just oh, we're gonna send everybody home again. And like Mike Boy pointed out, um, Missouri is quite a ways away. Missouri is smack dab in the middle of the country. It's the Midwest for real. Like so, um, but yeah. And yeah, I got a bunch of other stuff pulled up. Um, but yeah, man, Republicans are man, they're already pissing women off. They're pissing off a lot of people, but half the voting block is female, and all this shit they're doing is it's just not helping them. At best, it's not helping them. At worst, it's driving people over. Oh, I'll secretly vote for Kamala, or I just won't show up to the polls. And here we have Kevin, like there have been, there are going to be Republicans who don't use this approach. There will be other Republicans who are like, again, let's focus on the border, let's focus on whatever. Um, so we're about to watch Kevin McCarthy calling out Republicans, saying like, "Hey, these DEI attacks they're stupid, they're not effective, and they're really harmful to the Republican movement." So there are going to be those who raise that alarm, but the base really is the biggest issue because even if you have like let's say a healthy amount of Republican officials who, okay, let's just stop talking about DEI, let's just focus on policy. The Republican base, is gonna drive that message home. You're seeing Harris 2024 memes of her like giving blowjobs and stuff like just dumb shit like that, and it's just not effective. Also, we're going to look at an ad in a second where somebody a Republican put out an ad against Kamala Harris, and literally their attack line is the Democrats just appointed the most liberal, something like the most liberal candidate in history. Like her record is so liberal, she helped fight to cut taxes, and it's like, oh, this ad makes her look pretty decent actually. Like it's really amazing. They're all over the place, but let's check this out. Let's check out Kevin McCarthy telling Republicans to chill on the DEI shit. Because again, at the end of the day, not only is it harmful to the movement, it's not true. It's just not true. Like you can dislike Kamala for all types of practical reasons, but her being an idiot and her being a slut is that's it's she's not, like she just isn't. So find something else. All right, so here's what Kevin McCarthy has to say about their attacks.
Let me ask you about something we're already starting to hear, again, mainly from some of your former House colleagues who have been attacking Harris. They've been calling her a DEI vice president. A lot of people already think that attack line is racist. Are you confident that your party and Donald Trump can stay on the other side of the line and not delve into racially charged or racist attacks on a black female
I would
candidate?
say two attacks I've heard Republicans give that are totally stupid and dumb to do is the DEI attack. Okay? The other attack that I would not do is saying that the president has to resign.
Interesting.
That would be an advantage for Kamala. Air Force One is very...
That is true. Like, why does Joe Biden need to resign? If he, I mean, that would immediately make Kamala president. How is that gonna, like, what is that gonna do for anything, for anybody? What is it gonna do for Republicans? It would just, she would become the president immediately if he resigned from office. Like, how is that gonna help you guys? And then again, like in her prosecutorial record, I mean, she's, you know, like there, it's definitely mixed up. But there's some good stuff in there. She won like $18 billion that she helped return from bankers who stole it from consumers. And again, her Senate voting record is the most left wing out of everybody in the Senate. Again, I'll be fair to say the legislation didn't pass, so how much credit can you give to that? But at the end of the day, I think Republicans' best line of attack against her is to just talk about like the border and everything else they're always talking about. Because if you talk about her record, again, we're going to watch this in a second. Like, look at how liberal her record is. Like that doesn't make her look bad. It just doesn't. Especially for the people who are going to decide the election, the independents, the swing voters. You know, if you put that in front of their face, we're like, oh, well, it doesn't seem so bad. Yeah, they're totally scrambling.
very powerful when it lands somewhere. And you know what? Something will happen between now and the election, a hurricane or something else, and she'll be able to present herself as a leader. Or maybe there's some foreign policy. That is a mistake for any leader to go out and say that on the Republican side. This DEI, that seems like a petty. Look, I disagree with DEI, but she is the vice president of the United States. She is the former U.S. senator. These congressmen that are saying it, they're wrong in their own instance.
All right.
Yeah, again, you know, it's and he even said that. Look, he said, "Look, I think DEI goes a little too far, but come on, guys." Because again, it's just like it's just bad politics. It just is. Hold on, let me see. I think I got. Let me find this ad because since I've got it on my mind, the ad where I was mentioning where they were like, "She's the most liberal candidate in history," or something like that. Like, hold on, I got a bunch of tabs pulled up, y'all. My bad. We got Tucker Carlson again. Even if Republican officials quiet down on the rhetoric, you still got, you know, Tucker Carlson. What did he say? He said female leaders are nasty, stupid, and bloodthirsty. Like they can't help themselves. Where is it? My bad, y'all. I got so much shit pulled up. It's all good stuff. We got the Nikki Haley voters starting a pack with her name, like Nikki Haley voters for Kamala. Nikki's like sent them a cease and desist letter. Yeah, we got some good stuff. Damn, where is this shit, man? Where is it? Okay, I'll pull it up later. I'll pull it up later. Yeah, I'm not just gonna sit here forever. And look for this, but let's stay on topic though. All right, let's go to Senator Tuberville. Let's see what he has to say about immigrants. It won't be you know, it definitely won't be surprising, but let's see. Margarita, what's going on? A margarita on the rocks actually sounds pretty damn good right now. All right, let's see. And while we're playing this, I gotta look for this commercial because maybe I missed it when I clicked it, but I have to find it.
We got no chance for somebody like Kamala Harris. She is even farther left than Joe Biden. I didn't think they could pick anybody any worse, but they did. They picked somebody that's going to be, I think, their nominee. Now, former President Obama hadn't endorsed her, and that makes me think he might wait around a little bit to see if she's going to pick up her poll numbers. If she doesn't, they might put somebody else in her place. So he's going to set this out for a while. So we'll see what happens. But some of the people up here are starting to jump on the ship, but that makes no difference. You know, the American people have seen what's happened, and they've had to live what's happening. Larry, that's the main thing. They've had to live through this sorry economy that we're going through, the open borders that Kamala Harris herself has been in charge of. I mean, how can you put somebody in charge of a situation where you let 15, possibly even 20 million people come into our countries? Now, some of these people are good, but most of them are garbage.
Most of them
they
are
come
garbage.
from jails and prisons from other countries, and they've known that, and we're going to live in very tough times in years to come because of a lot of these people that have come in here with different agendas other than living in the great country that we live in now.
All right, y'all. I found the ad. I had to go on and find a link. All right, here we go. I'm about to email it to myself. It was what's his name? Dave McCormick. He released the most liberal nominee in U.S. history. Again, like y'all, unless you play that in a purely deep red district, that's not really a good line of attack. Okay, there we go. My bad, y'all. I had to get this this post to myself. So now we're gonna open it up and watch the video. Boom. Okay, hold on. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. He said, some of them are good, most of them are garbage. Well, Republican's gonna Republican. All right, here we go. Let's check out this ad.
Kamala Harris is inspiring and very capable. The more people get to know her, they're going to be particularly impressed by her ability.
The nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes.
How does this make her look bad?
The solution for voters in the fossil fuel industry.
Giving the workers an ability to transition. We're not going to treat people
Give the workers an ability to transition. No.
who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
Raise your hand if you think it should be a civil.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
This is supposed to be an attack ad against her. This is supposed to be an attack ad, and it's literally making her look pretty solid.
Raise your hand if you think it should be a civil offense rather than a crime to cross the border without documentation.
Abolish ICE. Yeah. Is that a position you agree with?
And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Outdated, it is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're going to get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street.
And again, it's like, she supported a mayor's decision to slash police funding. It's like this is like what is this? This is supposed to be an attack ad against her. Like, what is this? All they're doing is showing that she doesn't. So what were the attacks? That she's generally in favor of moving towards clean green energy. She doesn't believe that immigrants should be treated like criminals. Those have been the biggest attacks.
Would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
The food pyramid.
Reduce meat consumption? Who?
Yes.
To reduce red meat specifically.
Yes.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
So for people out there who like their insurance,
She's in favor of gun control.
They don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Let's move on towards single payer.
I am opposed to any policy that would deny any human being public health, period.
The more people get to know her, they're going to be particularly impressed by her ability.
That was one of the, man. I mean, I suppose there's definitely a group in a base. Again, like I said, unless you are but he's running for Senate. But unless you are in a purely red district, like, you didn't make her look bad in that ad at all. You highlighted her most liberal stances. That's what you did. I don't understand how that was one of the worst attack ads I've ever seen in my entire life. That was terrible. All right, now let's see. Oh, my bad. All right, Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, I guess they don't know what public health. That was really one of the worst ads I've ever seen in my life. I really don't get it. Exactly. That's why I said it made her look even better because they highlighted issues that she campaigned on, like, when she was running in the Democratic primaries. Yeah, that was pretty bad. All right, let's see what's up with this. You shouldn't be talking about other Buttigieg hits back. I keep saying Buttigieg. Buttigieg hits back at Vance over childless dig.
Childcare answer in the debate from both candidates was, I think, kind of confounding to everyone. But I'm glad you brought up children because there's actually this answer that JD Vance gave a few years ago, and he name dropped you in it about people who don't have children working in the government. This is what he said.
It's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
What? That was ridiculous. And again, well, I know y'all didn't see the other stuff where he was calling Kamala a cat lady. I'm like, again, it's like, do you realize how many people you are going to piss off just subtly and extremely, but with this rhetoric? Like, these people are idiots.
Now, I should note you have two children. They were born before Pete gave that answer. Harris is also a stepmom to children as well. But what?
You know how many people don't have kids? Especially people in like Gen X and down, because people are just having kids later these days. And people don't really need to have kids. A lot of people don't want to have kids. Like, God, they're exiting off themselves from so many potential voters with petty nonsense.
What's your response to that?
I mean, the really sad thing is he said that after Chasten and I had been through a fairly heartbreaking setback in our adoption journey. He couldn't have known that, but maybe that's why you shouldn't be talking about other people's children. And it's not about his kids or my kids or the vice president's family. It's about your family, people's family.
Exactly, Mike boy. Like, and what Buttigieg is pointing out, right? Because now we're getting away from politics. Now we're just getting into just insulting people, basically. I mean, and yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of people have kids later. A lot of people can't have kids. I mean, so much shit happens, man. Like, it's really amazing how quickly this shift. And when I say shift, I just mean like the energy shift on the Democratic side, like, going from hopelessness to feeling like, oh, okay, we can win this. That's what I mean. Now it's just, I mean, they're just handing this shit to Kamala.
Families whose well-being will depend on whether we go into a future led by somebody like Kamala Harris, who is focused on expanding the prosperity.
We got John Allen in the building. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here. Definitely good to see you.
Freedom, the well-being of our families. And by the way, especially if you have kids and you're worried about climate, choosing between a party that has a plan on climate that creates jobs and a party that still calls it a hoax, even as we went through the hottest day in world history.
Luke, thank you for 8 months of membership. Thank you, everybody, for everything that you do, all the support, all the love, all the belief that you give, because not only is it needed, but it is paying off. And I know that y'all see it. So thank you for everything that you do.
Or do you want your children to grow up in a country defined by...
Boom. Okay, let's see. A little more commentary on JD Vance. And again, the issue isn't like JD, MAGA's gonna vote for Trump no matter what. But I mean, was JD a good pick? Was he a bad pick? Is he really gonna be detrimental? I don't know. Well, let's see what people are saying.
We started the show by saying Democrats refuse to make meaningful concessions to win the presidency. Same logic applies to Republicans. We said this last weekend. Donald Trump could have essentially ended the presidential race at the convention by picking Nikki Haley as his running mate. Instead, he chose JD.
Donald, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you, my brother. I really do. Thank you. Good to see you.
JD Vance, firebrand senator from Ohio. Tim Alberta of The Atlantic reports that Republicans are having buyer's remorse. Most striking thing I heard from Trump allies yesterday was the second guessing of JD Vance, a selection they acknowledged that was born of cockiness, meant to run up margins with the base in a blowout rather than persuade swing voters in a nail-biter. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin is with us. Is that a fair critique, sir?
I don't think so. I've served with JD now for almost 2 years, and I don't feel he's a firebrand or bombastic. He's intelligent. He has integrity. He's got a heck of a story. He served our nation honorably as a U.S. Marine. And although he doesn't talk all the time in the conference, when he does say something, he's adding to the conversation. He's adding intelligent input. So that's what I know JD Vance. Obviously, the chemistry with President Trump was excellent as well, and that's important too.
We've now seen JD Vance on a national stage, and obviously Hillbilly Elegy, the bestseller that he wrote, was interesting and became sort of a matter of cocktail conversation on the East and West Coast to understand Trump voters. But a lot of America doesn't know him. They're getting introduced to him now. There was the speech you and I were both at.
And again, like I was saying, like especially, and it's not even if Republicans keep doing this. When I say this, I mean the racism, the sexism, all that. They're gonna keep doing it. All Kamala has to do is spend the hundreds of millions of dollars that she has on advertisements and hiring staff to go knock on doors and make phone calls. And when she keep doing exactly what she's doing when she goes to her rally, she did another one today, like a sorority event. Say what you need to say and nothing more. Nothing, absolutely nothing more. You don't got to talk for nothing but 15, 30 minutes max. You do not need to talk more than that. And they're gonna hand this shit to her. That's basically what we're watching happen. Because and again, it's not like she's unbeatable. And also what we pointed out is her only having 4 months helps her more than if she had a whole year and a half plus, because now she's just riding off the vibes and she's just riding off the contrast to Donald Trump and Republicans. And that's all she needs to do. Like, seriously, she doesn't need to try to like wow anybody. She doesn't need to try to show off or be spectacular. She don't need to do none of that. She don't need to do none of that. Fritza, thank you so much. We got 10 months of membership. Margarita, thank you for 6 months of membership. Man, I really appreciate y'all, man, for real. And again, I'm headed back to St. Louis in exactly a week, and I'm looking forward to it. One, I'm looking forward to being with family, and two, I'm really looking forward to all the work I'm about to put in, all the way around. I'm excited. But yeah, no, Kamala, I've been keeping up with her speeches, and again, she doesn't need to be spectacular. She just needs to say what she needs to say and leave. That's it.
At the RNC, and now he's been on the stump a couple of times by himself.
And then we, and by we, I mean the voters, then we got to hold her accountable, because that's at the end of the day, That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have an opportunity to win. Let's take the opportunity. Keep our eyes on all the other levels of government. You know, we got these down ballot races. We still got what's going on in our backyards. And again, I acknowledge it seems that you're not really going to pay as much close attention to city council politics probably until you're a homeowner. Not that you have to wait, but that's typically when people do it more often. Home ownership has a lot to do with a lot in politics. Um, but yeah, let's use this energy to make this shit better.
We'll take a listen to some of his moments.
Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist. And hell, a lot of you are my family, actually. We're probably, if you count fourth and fifth cousins, half of you are probably related to me in this room. Anyway, we're going to talk about donuts all day. You can tell what I skipped lunch, so my mind's on donuts here. So I'm from Breathitt County, Kentucky, where a woman isn't fully dressed without her guns. I mostly write my own stuff. I'm not going off a teleprompter right now. You can probably tell that. If I totally screw it up, it's too late. No takebacks, right? Fundamentally,
I mean, he's more charismatic than Ron DeSantis, for sure. I mean, what JD Vance's biggest issues are his policy stances, and then like his views on certain things and the comments that he's made. But I mean, just to be fair to him, like I don't. I mean, like I don't know how much weight like this holds, like the Mountain Dew stuff. I mean, it may be funny, like, but it's not. I think he speaks good enough. You know what I'm saying? He speaks better than Mike Pence did. He's more charismatic than Mike Pence.
you're going to agree, hopefully, with since you're here, you're going to agree, hopefully, with most of what President Trump and I want to do.
And also, another big problem that he's going to have is his hypocrisy with what he thinks about Donald Trump. That's going to continue to be an issue for him. I think just professionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are never, ever going to let him get away from that. Are you kidding me? People are never going to stop asking him, like, well, wasn't that long ago that you were saying Donald Trump's like the worst thing ever? Now, I guess he put that thing on you. He put that thing on you and it scrambled your mind. And now you're in limerence and you can't think straight. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
We're going to get a good fried bologna sandwich right now. So I just
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I also didn't watch the full speech. He kind of just seems like he has average public speaking skills. Like, he doesn't seem to be bad at speaking publicly. Again, it's who he is, what he stands for.
At one point, Fox News cut away from his remarks. Is he ready for prime time?
Well, again, first of all, you start out saying he's a firebrand, implying he's bombastic. That seems like a pretty measured approach. He's got a sense of humor. He's engaging. I think that'll appeal to an awful lot of voters, particularly here in Wisconsin. We just want decent people, friendly people, people who believe something that whether you agree or disagree with them, you generally believe that that's what they think. They're not just pounding sand. That's who JD is. So again, I personally found that pretty appealing the way he was presenting himself.
Well,
and again, I'm being fair to him. I don't really think that I think I think he has average public speaking skills. If nobody was talking about this, I would have watched it and been like,
Firebrand, in terms of his views, I think we can all agree some of the things he said on abortion and marriage and others appeal to a certain demographic. I'll leave it at that. Certainly what he said about the 2020 election and other places, not centrist. We can agree on that. I guess my point there, sir, was where was the delivery of those lines. If we made a mashup, we could make an equally sort of unflattering mashup of Kamala Harris. And I'm wondering if, given now that Kamala Harris is at the top of the ticket, if picking JD Vance wasn't an enormous missed opportunity.
I think, well, well, missed opportunity or not, again, I think JD Vance's statements and positions on abortion and women will absolutely add fuel to Kamala's campaign fire for sure. Again, not necessarily like a whole big ton of fuel, but it won't help. It definitely not, them versus Biden would be totally different. The vibe is totally different now.
A Glenn Youngkin, a Doug
I'm about to go turn the AC on 1 sec.
Burgum, a Nikki Haley, somebody to appeal to the center now that Democrats have an enormous amount of wind in their sails.
I'm just not agreeing with your assessment here. I didn't hear any word sales coming out of JD. He was just trying to be personable there. But the extreme, by the way, the extreme position on abortion is held by Vice President Kamala Harris. She wants unrestricted abortion.
No, she doesn't. And again, no one wants that. And even if it was allowed, like again, what woman other than someone who was extremely mentally disturbed would be like, I'm gonna carry a baby for 9 months, then I'm gonna get rid. Like, come on, man, that's insane. That's insane. Like, people don't do that. You would have to be completely out of your mind to take that path. But like, yeah, no, this well, hey, let's put it like this. If JD Vance, whatever damage JD Vance does to Donald Trump's campaign, you can blame it on Donald Trump's sons, because apparently they really, really pressed Trump to pick JD Vance. Apparently Trump didn't want to go with him at first. So hey. But yeah, no, it's things can change so fast. Things can change so quickly in life, but I mean, even in politics, generally politics is slow. Usually it's not always slow, but it usually is. But man, sometimes shit can change all of a sudden. And another lesson to be learned from this: always have backup plans, man. Backup plans for just in case, especially when you are dealing with politics or business or anything to do with planning. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did y'all not have a plan for this? Kamala's the vice president after all. I mean, Joe Biden's age was an issue in 2020. So why would you not have a backup plan for this? So many lessons to be learned, but that's perhaps one of the most important ones. Plan for shit to go down because things can happen. But yeah, like the incompetence of the Republicans. How the fuck don't y'all have a plan for this? She's the vice president. All right, let's see. Lawrence Jones, I think he's the black, yeah, he's the only black guy on the Fox's morning show, the 5 or whatever. He warns them about unnecessary attacks on Harris's race will tick voters off. And of course, it has to be him to say it, but it's the truth, because at the end of the day, it's boiling down to people who aren't necessarily decided. So when now you're moving away from, well, what potential policies could the Trump administration pass? And one of the biggest criticisms, at least from like the focus groups that I've seen, is people are like, I don't really want to hear what Trump did in the past. I want to hear what he's going to do moving forward. And that's also a strong difference, at least thus far, that I've seen between like Kamala and Joe Biden. Joe Biden also, in addition to Donald Trump, not really talking about what they're going to do. Kamala her whole campaign is the future. So she's already talking about that. So that versus, oh, she's just a woman. I mean, how many women are going to hear that, who work in an office filled with a bunch of men who they're smarter than all the men in the office. They worked harder than all the men in the office, or at least most of them, or whatever, who cares, are going to hear that and be like, what? Like, before, man, we're emotional creatures. Before And not only are we emotional creatures, but there's more to life than just like the political process. You know what I'm saying? So like, with these types of sentiments, you're gonna make women think about their past relationships where they were mistreated. You're gonna make them ruminate on their lives. It's so stupid, but they can't help themselves.
Remember, she did great when it comes to the hearings. The person can't really respond in an appropriate way. They're
like Kavanaugh and those
they're on the hot seat at that moment. But when it comes to interviews and going back and forth where there's no script, when she has to understand the policy, I mean, this is not coming from us. When you talk to her people, which, by the way, there should be an entire investigation to over the 80% of her staff.
Donald Trump has had a 92% staff turnover, so please shut the fuck up. All of you shut up with this bullshit.
Members that left, and one of the things that they say is she's not well read. She doesn't read the briefing material or any of that information.
So to your point,
we got Libby in the building, and we got, let's see, we got Plumtree and family watching from Zimbabwe. Thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in. But that's dope, all the way from Zimbabwe.
Ainsley, about right now, it's the honeymoon stage, and people are like, oh, let's take a look at Kamala Harris.
Yeah, now here's the problem with what Republicans are saying about the honeymoon stage, right? The honeymoon stage is going to last through the election. Now, so it's the honeymoon stage isn't going to be a few weeks. It's going to be the rest of the goddamn year and beyond. The honeymoon stage with Kamala, especially because, again, if she just does what she needs to do, she's gonna fucking win. The honeymoon stage will probably last up to 2 years into her presidency before people start, like examining, okay, well, what has she done? So again, that point is, it helps her. It doesn't hurt her. It's just, they don't know what the fuck to do. Like, y'all realize there's only 4 months to go. Like, the honeymoon phase is not gonna end next week. It's gonna keep building momentum for several years. That's how this shit works. God, they're about to lose. They're about to fucking lose. It's I mean, what plan do they have? Listen to these idiots. They don't have a plan.
Harris. Well, we have taken a look. So all eyes are on her. So let's just go through her various jobs in her adult life and talk a little bit about how she's done, because it does come down to her on the issues. And
you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything that wouldn't piss you off, Donald. Bibbs's speech to Congress was pretty ridiculous and infuriating, and how they gave him a standing ovation was also really infuriating. But good on Kamala Harris for not being there.
When she was vice president, there were record migrant encounters, as the so-called borders are. The last 2 border patrol chiefs say Harris has not spoken to them, as Ainsley mentioned. She pushed the envelope of the administration's messaging on the Israel-Gaza conflict and called for a ceasefire in March. Said anti-Israel protesters on college campuses were showing exactly what the human emotion should be as a response to Gaza. Maybe that's not, she's not meeting with Bibi. And a leader was inside the administration advocating for.
Yes, G, that is definitely a flosser that you see. I'm just twirling it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just twirling a flosser right now. My man's got 40/40 vision. He got binocular vision, microscopic X-ray vision. Whatever you smoking and drinking, go ahead. I need that. Okay. So look, and again, yeah, the border stuff, that'll work. That will always work for Republicans, and I guess anybody to where that's their main issue. But most people who aren't suffering from conservative brain rot, who live in the Dakotas, they're probably not as worried about that shit because you're in fucking Dakota. Okay, so what's this? So this is an attack against her, that she supported campus protests on Gaza. That's an attack. This is so bad about her. But in fact, again, this is why she's gaining support with the people that Joe Biden lost support from. This is why. She supported campus protests on Gaza. That's so bad. Oh, student debt. She advocated for student debt forgiveness. Oh, that's so bad. Over $168 billion approved in student loan debt forgiveness. They're campaigning for this woman, all while saying, "Oh, she's a DEI hire. Look at her." Like, bro, they are handing her this election to everyone who is undecided. They're just like, vote for Kamala. Why don't you go ahead and vote for her?
Forgiving student debt.
Also, look at foreign policy. She was looking to advocate. She went to
Yes,
Europe.
exactly. Ninja dart flossers. See, y'all got me figured out. Y'all figured me out, man. That's all it is. My cover has been blown.
Stop the Russian invasion. How did that go? Supported campus protests on Gaza. Tell me how that's profitable, or how the American Jewish audience is going to feel as though that resonates. That might be an outward attempt.
Donald, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, the momentum shift. You just pointed it out. The momentum shift is everything, because right now it's not about Kamala. It's about what Kamala represents. It's about the future. It's about that's really what it is. And so again, when they keep saying, "Oh, well, they're just in the honeymoon phase," yeah, and that's why she's gonna fucking win, because the honeymoon phase is going to continue for a couple of years at least. It's not, I mean, what are you kidding me? What the fuck? Even if you get beyond right now, if she's the first woman president and she's a black woman, like, are we going to pretend like that's not a big deal? Again, that doesn't mean that she's going to do good things for policy, but that by itself, I'm just twirling this flosser around, but that by itself, exactly, Donald, but that by itself, if she's the first, Barack Obama being the first black president, that he's still riding off that shit. Kamala gonna be riding off that shit forever. Like, she's, man, and this shit is crazy. And then keep in mind, if Donald Trump isn't president, he can't pardon himself, and he's still got several trials left to go. Yo, this shit is crazy. In 1 week, one presidential candidate almost got assassinated. The other one dropped out. And the momentum shift has been crazy. Like, this is crazy. This shit is crazy.
Attempt, and maybe an homage to the Michigan voters.
All right. She was also a senator, and as a senator, she applauded the L.A. mayor's decision to slash police funding after the George Floyd death. She helped raise funds to bail rioters out of jail in 2020.
Again, you're making her look fantastic, because keep in mind, at the end of the day, Kamala doesn't have like a steep, like, she was what does she have? One term as senator, I think. Was it one full term? So her voting record isn't like, oh, she has decades of votes. She doesn't. Her voting record looks good. You know what I'm saying? It does. She has like the most left-wing voting record in the Senate. She doesn't have decades of votes. And other than that, you really have to just look at her prosecutorial record, which is a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag, but there's some good stuff in there. But like, this looks good to anybody who isn't an extremist. She fundraised $41 million, bailed out rioters. What is this? Supported Minnesota Freedom Fund. And then also the fact that she was a prosecutor. Exactly, Fritza, they're helping her. The fact that she was a prosecutor, like a lot of progressives, that's like less attractive to the left. But if you have more of a conservative viewpoint on law and order, that also makes her look good. And that's why I said, how did these people not have a plan for Kamala Harris? How? She's the vice. This is incredible to watch, man. Their incompetence is legendary.
Remember that summer?
Tweet still out there.
Yeah, original co-sponsor of the non-binding resolution defining the Green New Deal.
She's in favor of moving towards clean energy.
She's all into the environment, and she's pushed fracking ban. How's that going to work in the Rust Belt states? How's it going to work in Pennsylvania during her?
They don't care.
2000.
What the?
2019 White House run, even though she did try to walk it back when she was Biden's running mate. And then in
Criticize ICE, call for them to be reevaluated. Supported health care for illegal immigrants.
2018, she said we need to critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it is being administered.
Well, they did.
Yeah,
and they gutted it. And now we have no way of following up on these would-be criminals. And then supported health care for illegal immigrants. She's on camera multiple times saying everyone in this country should get free health care. I don't care who you are.
Let's go to the beginning of her career when she was a prosecutor and then she was attorney general in California. During her first 3 years as a district attorney.
What Biden's talking at in front of Congress. And again, good Kamala ain't there. That is so great that she is not there, just in terms of the optics of it. I don't know, shit. Well, I'm sure I'm going to end up listening to whatever he says. But this is pathetic, man. This is fucking pathetic.
Attorney, San Francisco's convicted.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this is her So again, this is her record as a prosecutor. During her first 3 years as district attorney, San Francisco's conviction rate jumped from 52 to 67%. So again, that means she was doing her job. And again, there's a mixed record with it, but at the same, so what I'm saying is that if you're somebody who cares about law and order, quote unquote, this makes her look competent. That conviction rates jumped while she was a prosecutor. How does this make her look bad? This makes her look like she is good at her job. Prosecutors lock people up. It's what they do. And again, she got like
Conviction rate jumped from 52 to 67%. She opposed legalization of marijuana in 2010, but views changed over the years.
Views changed over the years. Why? God, marijuana, pretty much everybody wants weed legalized. So how does this make her look bad? Bro, none of this
declined to pursue the death penalty against the man who murdered
declined to pursue the death penalty against the man who murdered San Francisco police officer Isaac Espinosa. It sounds like something anybody remotely progressive would be like, oh,
San Francisco police officer.
Like, oh, she has the ability to reason. Oh.
Under her tenure as AG, the state passed controversial Prop 47, which made retail theft under $950 a misdemeanor.
Oh, okay. So basically, you know, because typically, who steals stuff more than anyone else? I mean, poor people, right? People who don't have the means to buy stuff. They're generally the ones who steal stuff, right? So while she was prosecutor, she said, you know what? Maybe we should have a little bit of empathy for them. We not let them totally get away with it, because we still got to have some law and order. But maybe they should be charged with a misdemeanor instead of a felony if they steal less than $1,950 worth of stuff. Again, it makes her look like you can work with her, like she's reasonable.
We're seeing the effects.
This is a good thing. All of this shit on here is a good thing.
Of that right now. The California GOP recently blamed.
She's incompetent. That's why when she was a prosecutor, the conviction ratings went up by 12%.
Her for that. We just laid out from Senator.
More than 12%. What, 15%?
To Attorney General, prosecutor, as well as Vice President.
So I'll tell you
This is amazing. This is amazing. And again, Donald, like I said, I think what I'm excited about is I think that there's so much opportunity for Kamala Harris to actually pass a lot of shit. One, there's a lot of reasons. One of them is because the tides are just turning like that. You know, it's just time for a lot of stuff to happen. And also because it will be fantastic for her career. I mean, come on, man, think about it. the first woman president to go in there and pass a bunch of progressive shit. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? She will be a legend if she goes in there. If she goes in there and does something like, oh, well, cannabis got legalized, or she can do so many things, especially if she has Congress with her. So I think that she will have a more progressive presidency than Joe Biden and Barack Obama probably put together. One, again, because it's just time for a lot of stuff. The momentum's there, the energy's there, the numbers are there, but also she got everything to gain from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, and it obvious, even if she goes like 50-60% on an agenda, like, what? But yeah, let's continue. And these attacks are they're just objectively bad. Like, y'all are making her look good. Hold on, let's see. Let me pull this up. We got Tucker Carlson. You got it on this Daily Beast. I don't want to pay for that. They don't have the video. Oh, well, these other websites don't have the video. I guess the Daily Beast has the rights to it, at least for right now. But basically, he's like, women are nasty, stupid, and bloodthirsty. Again, that's why I said, even if it's not Republican politicians, even if it's not them, it's the whole Republican apparatus. Like, you people are handing this woman this election. She don't got to do nothing but the bare minimum in this campaign. She really don't. You don't got to try to do nothing fancy. You don't got to do none of that. Just show up, talk for 15 minutes, and get off stage, and then let other people talk. Apparently, Kim Jong-un rejected Donald Trump's friendship claims. North Korea says, we do not care. Expresses nuclear readiness amid rising tension with U.S. We don't really need to read that article. It's just a funny ass headline. Korea was like, no, we're still a bunch of assholes. We don't really give a damn. Okay, let's see what's up with this. I haven't seen this clip. She did? Really, Mike Boy? She put out a statement that said his speech was bad. It was a bad speech. I'll look that up in a second. It was a fucking bad speech. It was ridiculous. Like, bro, you coming up in here. We already giving you all the money in the world, all the weapons in the world. You coming up here, oh, we don't have enough. We got to blow up. We have to blow up everybody. If you don't let us blow up everybody, well, then the next thing you know, Missouri, Arkansas, and Florida, and Idaho, and Rhode Island, there's going to be nuclear bombs exploding. That's what he said. Like, that's what he fucking said. I'm not even joking. That's what the man was saying. No. Israel's protecting you. Like, we're giving you everything. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We don't need you there. America, y'all are using our shit. What the fuck do you mean? But it is what it is. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. We got Donnie Sullivan stuns anchor with blizzard of Kamala Harris conspiracies. So what is this? Oh, shit,
imaginable floating around online. It's really like,
As Donnie O'Sullivan tracking this one for us. He's joining us now. Donnie, what are you seeing?
Hey, Kate. Yeah, look, as you said there, just every sort of conspiracy theory imaginable floating around online. It's really like, A lot of prominent Trump supporters are trying to test out, seeing what will stick as such. And look, some of these folks are hiding their racism better than others. Other people are being very blatant about it. I mean, just to give you a sense of the range of what is being said, there is even a birther conspiracy theory, throwback to Trump and Obama.
We'll check out Nancy Pelosi and the other Democrats who are joining the boycott against him and everything like that after this.
Of course, there's no basis at all whatsoever for that. The current vice president is eligible to be president. Also, we're seeing a lot of altered videos and images.
This my Ninja Shuriken.
Some of them are quite crude. I want to just give you an example of one, which I think we can show a side by side here. There is an image of the vice president there with, as you can see on the right hand side, her husband, the second gentleman, and obviously been manipulated there on the left to put in a photo of Jeffrey Epstein. So look, stuff like that is pretty simple. It's pretty crude, but when there is so much stuff of it floating around online, it can
it's like all of this and the stuff floating around online, whether it's stuff like that or literally like an outline of her like giving a bunch of guys blowjobs. Like, God, you are making this so easy for her. I mean, how many Nikki, and we're gonna get into this Nikki Haley thing. Nikki Haley voters, not all of them, but it's definitely gonna be a good chunk of them that vote for Kamala Harris. They were already ready to vote for a woman, and now all of this, like, I mean, think about think about a household, for instance. So imagine this for me for a sec. Chanko Jeans, what's going on? How you doing? You put your imagination caps on with me for a second. This is my imagination cap for right now, right? Put on your imagination cap and think about this shit, right? You at a dinner table with a Republican family, and the dad is, like he's the head of the house, and he's sitting there boisterously talking about how, oh, Kamala's a DEI hire, those Democrats, they can't do anything right. They're lying about Joe Biden. Now they're trying to put a woman in there. But I mean, look what happened with the Secret Service. You put a woman in charge, give a woman a management position, and they're just gonna fuck it all up. And then his wife is seething on the inside, but she's not going to say anything because Republican nuclear family conservative household, so she may not say anything. But when it actually is time to go to the booth, she goes, and she gonna vote for a woman. You don't think? Imagination cap off. There's going to be a lot of people to where that's a scenario where that happens. Women in offices who are overhearing all the Republican guys talking about, like, this isn't Hillary Clinton in 2016. Like, this is post-Roe. This is Trump all over the place. Oh, I take all the credit for it. Like, bro, this shit is unbelievable. It's like inevitable that this woman wins. The way that they're fucking going about this shit.
Reemerge and be used to kind of paint these various different narratives online. And even though, you might look at that image side by side and say, well, clearly that's a fake.
And then even if you want to compare Trump's personal past with Kamala's, Kamala dated people, before she was married, she dated some successful men. That's so terrible versus Trump, who, like will go cheat on his pregnant wife who's upstairs. She's upstairs. I want to go downstairs real quick and sexually assault somebody in the closet. Then I'll be right back. Like there's no comparison. This is, man.
Sometimes as people encounter this stuff on social media on their own, it's not always as clear, and it can kind of play into this idea. And, I think one thing that's important to mention here as well, Kate, is we were both at the...
Look, again, now it's obviously it's her race to lose. It really is. But see, Luke, there you go. Again, it's not going to be 100% of situations, but there's going to be thousands of situations like that in a state, in a country of 50 states and hundreds of millions of people. There will be thousands of instances where they're like, you know what? I'm going to go vote for Kamala. Because they're not going to stop this shit.
RNC last week. And
Nikki Haley's ass is probably going to vote for Kamala Harris.
thing that struck me from being there is that we saw so many different, these new kind of propaganda outlets, the type of outlets that Steve Bannon is on, that Mike Lindell is posting. And these outlets are growing hugely. They're pushing propaganda, pushing this kind of misinformation at the same time as local newspapers and journalists are being laid off across the country. So really making the waters much murkier as we go into this election.
The waters are not gonna the waters are not going to get less murky. It definitely won't. But now let's get into Nancy Pelosi's statement and let's take a look at the Democrats who did not show up, who either didn't show up or protested Netanyahu's speech in some form or fashion. And again, it was like he's crazy. Like he's delusional is what he is. I mean, obviously he's nuts. He's a psycho. He's delusional. Like, dude, you're not him. You think you're him, but you're really not. Around half of Congress's Democrats skipped Netanyahu's speech. Good. Let's check it out and see who it is. Oh yes, life is not boring. That's for damn sure, Donald. Life is not boring. Life is not boring. And so many lessons to be learned throughout it all. More lessons to come. Roughly half of House and Senate Democrats skipped Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to a joint session of Congress on Wednesday, according to an Axios head count. Many lawmakers, particularly progressive Israel critics, made clear they were explicitly boycotting the event in protest of Netanyahu's prosecution of the war in Gaza. Among the boycotters are former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which we'll get into in a sec. That says a lot. That says a lot because again, the audacity that he came up in there with is just like, you're doing too much, man. You're doing way too much. I mean, like, come on. Former House Majority Whip Jim Clyburn. Damn. Clyburn is like one of the worst. You got Nancy Pelosi and Jim Clyburn. That's also a good sign of what Kamala could potentially do. That you got people like this who are kind of ready to be like, okay, let's tamper this guy down a little bit. Obviously, we still got to see, but damn, that says a lot. Isolationist Rep Thomas Massey, he's a libertarian. And it says roughly 100 House Democrats and 28 Senate Democrats were present in the chamber for the Israeli prime minister's speech, meaning around half of both caucuses were absent. That's good. That's good. That's a lot to work with there. And it also, lots of silver linings. That's lots of silver linings there. We know who we can work with, and maybe not, and those who maybe not so much. Most of the lawmakers who did attend the speech are on the more moderate pro-Israel side of the party, including many swing district lawmakers. Wednesday's boycott was significantly larger than the 58 Democrats who skipped Netanyahu's 2015 speech. Okay, yeah, so that definitely was significantly larger. 58 compared to half of both of the caucuses. The speech was controversial because it was seen as a snub of then President Obama and gave Netanyahu a platform to castigate him. Okay, that was 2015. All right. All right, so now let's check out this other article from Axios about Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi. Sweeping bipartisan Netanyahu boycott. So let's see if this article says anything differently. Okay, I think that, yeah, this was Massey's. I'm trying to see if her statement. Speaker Pelosi will not be attending today's joint meeting of Congress, a Pelosi spokesperson said. This morning, she will join a members' meeting with Israeli citizens whose families have suffered in the wake of October 7th Hamas terror attacks and kidnappings. Okay, the statement isn't here, but at least we know. Okay, let's check out JD Vance. More on JD Vance. Polling numbers. My allergies. He's dragging Trump down. CNN's data guru reveals brutal polling data for JD Vance. Let's see. Let's see.
All right, you've been looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
And, Kristen Soltis Anderson, pollster, told me recently, you need a day or two to see things settle, but you often can see things pretty quickly. What do you see right now?
Frankly, I don't really understand the pick, and apparently neither do the American voters, because we take a look at the net favorable rating for J.D. Vance. That's a favorable minus unfavorable. It's a negative net territory. Look at that, -6 points. I will tell you, Aaron, I have gone all the way back since 1980. He is the first guy after immediately following a convention, a VP pick, who
immediately after convention, okay,
actually had a net negative back since 1980. He is the first guy after immediately following a convention, a VP pick, who actually had a net negative favorable rating. That is
damn. So the average is +19 immediately after convention, and his is -6.
Underwater. The average since 2000 is +19 points. J.D. Vance making history in the completely wrong way.
I mean, it's amazing. +19. And I know people talk VPs don't usually matter, but they're usually
they're
not
pretty
a negative.
popular. Usually they're popular. In this case, he's dragging Trump down.
All right. And then there's also Ohio, which I, have been around long enough to have been there on an election night. And the reason I was there, because the person who wins Ohio wins the White House.
Right.
Ohio's a red state now.
Yeah.
So what does the J.D. Vance pick do for Trump? Obviously, he is senator from Ohio.
There's this whole idea, J.D. Vance is, going to help out in Ohio, perhaps help out in those Rust Belt, those Great Lake battleground states. But if you look at Ohio, J.D. Vance won in 2022, but he only won by 6 points. That's worse than Donald Trump did in 2020. It's far worse than Mike DeWine did in 2022. He was the worst performing Republican candidate in 2022 up and down the ballot in the state of Ohio. He has nothing there.
All right, so Trump does very well with white working class voters. That's one of his superpowers. So what does Vance add?
Yeah, what does Vance add? Look, he won white working class voters. He won white voters without a college degree in the state of Ohio. But pretty much every Republican wins white working class voters. And if you look here, again, the margin that Vance put up was the weakest performance of any major Republican. It's worse than Trump did in Ohio. It's worse than Mike DeWine did in Ohio. The J.D. Vance pick makes no sense from a statistical polling perspective, Aaron.
Well, I mean, I suppose that's definitely significant. I mean, I don't see how it's not significant. Clearly, and also, well, that was immediately after the convention, but so much has changed too. You know what I'm saying? Like now, now the narrative, the narrative was that Biden's his big problem. Now the narrative is that Trump is the problem, and also again all this sexism and shit with Kamala Harris being where she is, and then just apparently having no plan and no strategy against her whatsoever. It would make sense that in light of that change, JD Vance's polling will probably continue to go down. I exited off of 2 videos of a couple of people in the media talking about JD Vance's cat lady comments and talking about women without children, just because we've already gone over a few of those, and it's evident that again that the cat's out of speaking of cat ladies, the cat's out of the bag now. So yeah, I think that JD Vance is obviously not helpful to Trump's campaign. And again, if it turns out that he does drag things down, then you can just blame Trump's kids because they're the ones who pushed him. Apparently, Trump wasn't really trying to go with JD at first. And then his sons were like, no, we have to do him. And now, again, if the average since 2000 is +19 and this dude is -6, that has to be significant. It has to be. At best, it's significant. At worst, it's a disaster. Okay, I think this is a woman. coming from a woman. Again, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop with this bullshit. But they can't. And again, this is an elected official. Elected officials, even if they don't do it, oh, we got Tucker Carlson, one of the most watched conservatives in the world. Women are, what did he say? Women are stupid and bloodthirsty or some stupid shit. Rep. Harriet Hagman, a Republican of Wyoming, criticized Wyoming, where the state where all of 7 people live, criticized the Democratic Party for embracing Vice President as its likely nominee, saying she is a diversity, equity, and inclusion hire. Yeah, again, you live in a state that has 7 people, so how high is the competition there really? Quote, I think she's one of the weakest candidates I've ever seen in the history of our country. Well, if you think that, then you don't see very well. And again, why are Republicans even commenting on this at all? Why are you making public statements about this in this way? We got Jay Murphy. Well, I'll do my best. I'm still a little bit all over the place. Well, exactly. Wyoming, another border state. Yes, the Mexicans are a hop and a skip away from Wyoming. Hagman hit Harris over her stance on immigration, and oh yeah, there we go. Wyoming immigration, such a big deal. Hardly anyone lives in Wyoming. Like, it is a very low population state, which is not a bad thing, but it's relevant for the jokes that we're cracking right now. I think it's just a failure from top to bottom, Hagman said. I think she was a DEI hire, and I think, excuse me, and I think that that's what we're seeing. And I just don't think that they have anybody else. I just think that they're in real disarray. Well, you ought to think again. You're not paying attention. And again, this is a woman saying this, so it's like, well, what does that make you? Well, no, I earned it. Kamala was attorney general and a senator and a vice president. She didn't earn any of that, but me, I earned my spot, and your spot is much below hers. So shut up. Again, none of this shit isn't substantive because there would be plenty of people. Yeah, I was thinking that. I think Wyoming has like 500,000 or 600,000 people in the whole state. That I didn't say it, but I was thinking that 600,000 was in my mind. But again, like on an objective level, there, Kamala Harris isn't in a position to be. Well, she is an elected official, and she's in a position to become president. She almost certainly is about to be. There's plenty of legitimate things to criticize her for. There's plenty of legitimate things to be concerned about her for, worries, all of that. But again, her earning or not earning where she is, that's just not a legitimate concern. It's stupid. What does that have to do with anything, on top of the fact that, I mean, who is she? Amber Rose? Who is she supposed to be? And again, this is coming from a woman, and Kamala Harris is more successful than yo ass. At least politically, she is. So shut up. And look at Joe Biden himself said he preferred a vice president based on their race and gender. Kamala Harris is more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Her voting record is more liberal than Bernie Sanders. Again, Bernie Sanders has been in the Senate way longer, so yeah. But it's like, it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, Kamala Harris is more liberal than Bernie Sanders. She wants to ban fracking and offshore drilling, take away consumer choice to eat meat. Yeah. No one wants that. I don't want you to eat meat at all anymore. Turn illegal immigration into a civil offense. All things not in line with the people of Wyoming. Wyoming, where 600,000 people, where 500,000 people live. And again, they're criticizing her for being the most liberal nominee ever. And technically, she is. It's man, it's just, yeah, nah, this shit is it's the biggest losing strategy ever. It's the biggest lose. I've yet to see them do anything that makes sense. And I don't expect them to do much that makes sense other than focusing on the border, because they would have already had the game plan. Kamala Harris is the vice president. She's not some rando who came out of nowhere. She's the vice president. And Republicans were so certain that it was going to be Joe Biden. And that really was the best thing for them. Okay, what is this? Let's see. All right. Are you kidding me? Jim McGovern mocks Republicans. Emergency meeting convened because Trump is losing and they're in a panic.
This is an emergency meeting. You heard that right, everybody. This is an emergency. Not an emergency meeting to fix the border, but an emergency meeting to bash Kamala Harris. That's the emergency. Are you kidding me? The emergency is that Donald Trump is losing and they're in a panic. And he's so unpopular that they need a meaningless resolution to try to prop him up. Now, I get why he's unpopular. Maybe they should call on him to step aside, considering how rambling and unfocused and boring he's become. He's the oldest presidential nominee in history.
and now they're gonna be throwing that out. Because now he is the oldest presidential nominee in history. This is just a fascinating series of events. It really is. This shit is crazy. All right, we got, I think, Tim Burchett. He's one of the guys who was like, she's a DEI hire. She's a DEI hire. And he apologized for it. But he not sorry, though. No. He apologized, but it's the truth. That's what he said. He said, I'm sorry for saying it out loud, but it's true, though. She's a DEI hire. She did not earn where she is. All right. Let's see what he said. Rep. Tim Burchett said today he regrets calling Vice President Harris a diversity, equity, and inclusion hire, even as he doubled down on the comments. Speaking to Laura Coates on Sirius XM's The Laura Coates Show, Burchett said, "Do I wish I'd said it? No, but it was the truth." Following President Biden's decision to suspend his re-election campaign and Harris's subsequent own announcement for the presidency, Burchett took to platform X to express his disdain for the Democrats. The incompetency level is at an all-time high in Washington. The media propped up this president, lied to the American people for 3 years, and then dumped him for our DI vice president, Burchett posted. And then he was interviewed while he was walking down the hall, I think by CNN. And he was like, "No, it's the truth. It's the truth." Burchett admitted that folks from out of the district were not happy with his comments. When folks are explained that this was in fact a statement that the president had made and that it was one of his criteria for putting her on the ballot with him, then folks understand it. But, I get the activists and they come off. They're going to say something filthy to the young staff members, and it's easy to hide behind a keyboard or a telephone, but they're not saying it in person. Oh, they scared. They not about that life. They not finna run up on nobody. That's what he just said. He just called them a bunch of bitches. And actually, members of Congress, both parties have said, look, yeah, we get it, but this is what we got to do because this is what our base and our leadership's demanding. He said nothing. Whatever. I was asked about her, and I continue to say that she was a terrible hire because she was. She ended up resigning in shame, and then then the CNN reporter stuck in that part about the vice president. And that's where it all came out. So it's one of those things. You live and you learn. I do. One day at the convention, I gave 20 interviews, so it's not all going to be gravy. He said, I gave 20 interviews that day. It's not all going to be gravy. Sometimes, you're going to have a mixed bag when you're talking to 100 people a goddamn day. Things get a little messy sometimes. Your mind's just rolling around, and then the racism and the sexism just comes spewing out. You can't handle it. You can't help yourself. Oh yeah, that was perfect. Oh yeah, and like I said, I'm about to go. And when I'm in St. Louis, I'm gonna be streaming 5-6 days a week, and then just doing. I'm gonna be doing a lot more. When I come back, I'm gonna get an editor. When I get an editor, the channel's really gonna take off when I get an editor. Because editors are everything, really. In a lot of ways, the editors are everything. And we have a lot of good segments. But also when I get back, I'm going to be working on putting together full feature documentaries of just, kind of everyday people start here in NYC. But yeah, no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm excited about everything. Right, exactly. If I say enough words, some of it will be racism. You know how that works. Sometimes it just comes a heaping out. Like when you got a cold. It's the same concept. Here we go. And Nikki Haley sending off cease and desist letters. Nikki Haley fires off cease and desist letter to Haley voters pack that is now backing Kamala Harris. I mean, again, it's like the universe is just like, Donald, as I become more successful on YouTube, I think it's inevitable that I'll stream on other platforms because not just because there's good audiences on other platforms, but also like streaming rules and stuff. I'm sure I'll get on other stuff other than Twitch, like for days where I'm like, hey, I want us to all watch a movie together. You can't really stream. It's hard to stream stuff like that on different channels or like on YouTube. They'll cut you off and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be streaming on other platforms. Got a text message. All right. Nikki Haley voters are like, we're going to vote for Kamala. Former South Carolina governor and former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, sent a cease and desist letter to a PAC representing disillusioned workers who voted for her in the primary but are now supporting Vice President Kamala Harris. But the Haley voters for Harris are undeterred. Haley made headlines during the GOP presidential primary for a stronger than expected challenge to former President Donald Trump, winning several contests and continuing to rack up votes for months after she suspended her campaign. And then she went and humiliated herself at the RNC. I think I saw a clip of she was like, Donald Trump asked me to speak here. And then Trump was like, no, I didn't ask her to speak here. She did it herself. Like, oh no. Oh God. Okay, so first they were Haley voters for Biden. Now they just switched it to Haley voters for Kamala or something along those lines. Here's the letter Nikki Haley's attorney sent to Haley vote for Harris. Shameful. Well, there you go. Haley voters for Harris. That is now a pack of former Nikki Haley voters who have switched sides. They didn't switch sides. I got another video that I think we may look at tomorrow or Friday. It's like a video of Trump on a golf escapade. Him going golfing and stuff like that. But I think yeah, this is like a 50-minute video. I think we should definitely watch it together. I mean, not today, just because I've already been going for an hour and a half. But I think we definitely got to watch this together. Just Trump driving around, playing golf, living his best life, doing his thing.
That's a maple right there.
I love it.
Just grows. You know why? It's a very vibrant part of the world. This man can putt, let me tell you. He's driving the ball, but I may be more impressed with his putting.
Diabolical hole, but
We're looking to get after it here. Come on, let's see a striped drive. Yeah, beautiful.
That's good. Right in that area is good.
Solid. Short of the bunker there. Yep, just short. You're good.
If you go just a
Yeah. We gonna have to check this out for sure. Maybe maybe during the weekend. I don't know. Sometime soon, we gonna have to watch that. It's like 56 minutes long, so we're not gonna do it today. But we definitely got to check that out. Let's see. What else? Because I gotta take a phone call in about 15 minutes or so. So, let's see. All right, let's just quickly go over this. I'll just go over these headlines real quick. Um, and then I gotta make a phone call. So we got Fox News who offered a debate. Let's see. When September debate. What is it? The 17th? I think that's what I remember seeing. Yes, September 17th. Fox extended an invitation for Biden and Harris to debate. I expect Harris, she's gonna debate him no matter where they hold it. She's definitely gonna do it. Let's see. Let's go over some of the some new polls, a couple of new polls that have come out with Kamala going up in areas where Biden was really struggling. So that's looking good for her campaign. Young voter registration spikes to record numbers in 48 hours after Harris takes helm. New voter registration spiked. Okay, the nonpartisan vote.org website saw its highest level of new voter registrations of the 2024 election cycle in the first 2 days. So let's see, with 38,500 people signing up, a 700% spike. 700% spike. That's even higher than when Taylor Swift made an Instagram post urging her fans to register. And most of the new registrations came from voters who are 34 years old or younger. Again, when it comes to politics, young votes, kind of like 40 and down, like even maybe 45 and down is kind of like all in the, not always all in the same group, but kind of generally on the same page with most policy positions. Obviously, give or take if you're left or right wing, but 45 and down can still generally relate to one another. Let's see. The largest get hopes to register. Okay. All right. Now, a few other numbers from a CBS poll, CBS News. A 62 to 37 lead on Donald Trump among young voters. And again, we'll keep our eyes on all of that for sure. But one of the biggest things that Kamala has is that her honeymoon period is going to last for the next 2 or 3 years. It's not going to end in a few weeks. It's not going to end in a few months. That's not happening. So all she has to do is the bare minimum, and she's going to win. Especially since it's looking like Republicans are absolutely shitting the bed with campaigning against her. And one more set of information again that's looking like Biden was just absolutely going to lose this thing. It's just no question. Biden was not going to fucking win. Yeah, and again, just like you said, Gen Z has already endorsed her all over TikTok. Kamala's popping on TikTok. She, like, oh, did I open this article? Yes, I did. Okay, this is a Zoom call. Let's see. This is from Roland Martin. He says, I have no words, and not just because I'm tired. My Black Star Network just told me that 53,862 people registered for our Win with Black Men video call. We raised $1.3 million and counting from 17,000 donors. Again, this is like on the ground organizing. A little more, let's see. The Win with Black Men call came a day after the Win with Black Women advocacy group held a call on Sunday night. That call drew 44,000 women supporters and raised $1.5 million. Okay. Well, again, this race is 100% Kamala's to lose, and with only a handful of months to go, I I I I think she's gonna win. I do. If she obviously, I'm open to changing my opinion if something drastic happens, if things all of a sudden start going in the other way. But I'm pretty convinced that Kamala's gonna win this thing, not just because of the past couple of days, but because of everything else that we laid out. The fact that there's only a few months left. She, you know what I'm saying? All she got to do is ride the wave, and I think that there's a good chance for her to have a pretty progressive presidency, especially compared to most presidencies. Um, she has everything to gain, and I think that the public has a lot of power right now. So thank y'all for joining me. This was a very, very good stream, and I might be busy tomorrow. If I am, I'll be streaming on Friday. Thank you for all the support.